Everyone usually runs a little late though, so about 2.5 hours. This is the last plan. Excuse me, hiccups. This is the last plan that we made last week, right before the game. And we actually got through a lot of it. We got the players, they killed one of the big bads, which wasn't expected. I also wasn't quite expecting them to go and immediately just try and cash in this deal that they had made with a chaotic evil power raven ogre mage, who had kidnapped one of the players. And so they ended up fighting him after he tried to kind of screw them on their deal. They kill him in an epic 102 damage in a single swing critical hit by the barbarian. And we got them back around to at least get to the teleportation circle. It seemed that they, at least some of them, were very opposed to climbing across the chains because it is blatantly dangerous to try and do that. But I'm glad we had come up with, some kind of mechanism just in case they had tried anyway, or they wanted to fly, then rest on the chains, then fly again, or something like that. But we still have that whole gray bar on the right still available to us today. So I think we're going to be able to loop that in pretty early on in the game. So the party got to the island. And by island I mean Kaldur, Vega, this place. Here's the overhead. So we plopped them out right on the horn here. Party popped out over here. It's an enormous triangle for them. And then they walked over to the edge of the wall here, right where the river meets the wall. And they found a ledge, which, like a ledge to this, mason opening that this, large river is pouring out of. The river's big and it's fast, and you fall in it, it's going to sweep you away, and you may have a turn before you're flung off the edge of the floating island. That's, 1,000 feet in the air. So one of the players gets across, goes through, finds a ladder, but it's a giant-sized ladder, so it's a little awkward to climb as a medium and difficult to climb as a small. The Etten, who had another Etten partner, who were kind of the henchmen of this ogre mage that they had just recently killed. He tries to follow because he wants to come out of exile, basically, and rejoin the city and the community here. He follows the player who kind of shimmied across inside of this tunnel to find that ladder. The Etten rolls a 4 on his balance, slips off, rolled a 2 on his reflex, does not grab the edge, and falls into the river to get swept off the island. So the party is by themselves now, and they take a rest around this ladder at the bottom. Get up to the top of the ladder, it's basically a manhole cover. The Warforged uses her magnificent paints to paint a hole that has a normal sized ladder in the hole. And I think it's just big enough for them to fit through. So they pop out, and now they are at city level. They're city level on the, the lowest floor. Luckily we have all of the, sites of importance of Kaldur Vega already planned out. So we have our map. might be able to see. It might be overexposed, but I have little locations handwritten out. So you have this area, which is like a monastery. Teleportal gateway is here, which is if they had gone with the ogre, or they had dialed it in. Actually, not even dialed it in. Had not changed the dial whatsoever on the teleportal. This is where they would have arrived, which could have been worse because they would be right in the middle on the like nobility elite floor or tier of this society. And pretty open and exposed right off the bat. So they ended up like kind of messing with the teleportal to try and figure it out, and that just knocked them off to pop out over here instead of being lined up originally. We have, the council. This is the monastery. I'm saying is like where they're like these great old ones. Kind of take shifts, and they're the ones who like produce this fog, this concealing fog around the island, so it's really never found. Then I have a library of giant kind, which holds immense knowledge of thousands and thousands. It's the Library of Alexandria on this giant island. If they do go in there, there is a lot to find. There's items of all kinds. That is the treasure box, basically, of the city. And then Udrus, who currently has the kidnapped player in his possession, is kind of using her just as an assistant, and has kind of grown a liking to her, and I think her to him as well. But he lives in this like cluster, this compound of buildings. Our party is, let me grab this triangle, pointing to where the party is popped out. So they're in this little alleyway here. They're popped out right about there. The only ways up and down from tier to tier are within the like end towers of each square, and then some of the larger structures like the council chambers and the central citadel keep, those go through all the floors. I'm not sure how much of an interior structure I want to have on the inside. Maybe it's primarily living quarters, so it's kind of like everyone's in a barracks, but it's a little nicer than a barracks, but it's kind of a barracks, which is why this place could have a population that it does, while still not taking up all that much area, and being able to fit on a small island that floats above mountains. So we got him there. Look back at our plans. We got him there. We got through the black box of the quotes. They are in a whiteout snowstorm. I think I let it snow a little less. So a whiteout snowstorm would be like 10 feet of visibility. I believe it's just snowing heavily now. 20-foot visibility. The interesting thing though is that they're going to leave behind footprints. Footprints will go away after a certain amount of time, or they'll get lost in the snow. But footprints, occasional balance checks. Hiding is going to be difficult because you're going to leave a trail to wherever you're going. And then the good thing is though is that they're always in this like veil of snow. So they're not going to be seen from like all the way down the street as someone pops out of a building and walks over to do whatever they're up to during their normal day. They're not gonna like just look down the street and see the party. It's a bit of a boon for them. They They have no idea where their party member is. If it becomes too difficult, I'll probably try and help the player who is kidnapped, who has a familiar, who's through the familiar has assisted the party a little bit with figuring out where she is. I'll start giving her hints of like, like how communicate as best you can to the party where you are. The bad thing though is she's also never really been outside of this building either. She's always been caged up or about the area that not Kaldur. What's his face? Udros has her contained in as she helps him out with things. I believe that I will have their first run-in will be with Goliaths, so that we can go right to the gray box and not waste that. We can then introduce the Goliath Hobson's choice for Dark Leaper, the Goliath player. So that'll be interesting. That'll probably take up a good 40 minutes to an hour, depending on how involved the rest of the party gets with that decision being made, or if he has like a genuine conundrum about it, which would be cool to see play out. We'll get through that. If I think they're gonna have a really bad time trying to find this player, or that they will get frustrated, I'll drop some clues in with the Goliaths. So let's see here. Towards the end of this gray box, your brother would be delighted to see you again. Would you come see him? So this brother of the Goliath lives on the lower level, but is out when they get there, but he'll show up after they've been there for a little bit. So they get the backstory there. This brother could have dropped off, like he could have dropped off meats or something, or maybe he found I've got a great hook. So, this brother's gonna drop off a golden amulet, I believe? A golden locket. And he's going to have given it to Udras, let's say, two days ago. Crag the Warforged touched a meteor and was spoken to by a external entity, and then was thrown back from the meteor. So like, you go to touch the thing, boom, anime style, you're flown back like 100 feet until you hit the ground. I forgot, but I wanted to have the Warforged have a dream where this entity spoke to him again. Which is odd because the Warforged has never had dreams before until basically this month in-game, where he's had 3 or 4. Which could be a little bit of a story arc in its own right, that could be explored later. But in this memory, or in this dream, I have the entity calling out to the Warforged, saying that the Giants have stolen something, or they have something of ours. It's imperative that you take it back. There's a golden locket in the book, 4th from the left, 3rd from the shelf, the 3rd on the shelf, opposite of the scrying sphere. So I'm describing the room that Via, the gnome, the kidnapped player, describing the room that she has spent the most time in that was not her cage inside of this room. I planned that once they do reach Udra's compound, Once they go in and they start looking around, that is where they will find the kidnapped player Fia. Is in this room. So then the Warforged will be like, oh, all of my clues are here. I'm gonna look for fourth book from the left on the third shelf, right? Okay, so we've got character can reach out with the familiar, talk to the rest of the players, kind of charades them into where she is, roughly. They could come up with a more a magical solution that I'm not completely aware of, that they have access to. They could go with these Goliaths to meet the rest of the Goliaths, get a big lore dump there, have a big moment of the spotlight for Dark Leaper, the Goliath player, and then also get the clue, which ties them all the way back to finding their kidnapped friend, and having like a genuine direction of where to go, and possibly someone to take them there. So let's say we get them there. Let's say they haven't risen any major alarms. They get there. What should they do? What should they see? What should they meet? I'm gonna take Udaros, the guy who lives there, out of the compound. I don't think they're gonna run into him. I think he's going to be called to the council chambers and have to spend a few hours there. It doesn't really give a time to Fia. Therefore, like, he could be back at any moment. So it kind of gives a time pressure for the players to just get her and whatever else you're taking and go. Let's see, we can hide little treasures in the house as well. They're the other captured folk, which, let me look up what they are. Let's see here. I believe there were 2 drow, maybe a halfling? I don't know if I wrote it out. I think I improv'd it on the spot, and I just hadn't written it down. But I also don't think Fia, the other player, certainly knows. She knows there's like other things or smaller folk locked up with her. So let's say it's 2 drow, brother and sister. Say there's 2 drow, brother and sister. Let's do something interesting. Let's pick something from the sands. Area in the sands. Go to D&D books, expansion books, Sandstorm. About deserts and whatnot. 2 pages at a time. Should be playable rate. Some weird looking things. And you also just have like sand orcs. I think there are Badlands. That could be interesting. Just because I kind of have the dwarves of at least this continent that they share a space with. I have them kind of like a North African Egyptian kind of person, but dwarf instead of like stereotypical like Scottish, Irish kind of a person, and they're a dwarf. It's a little flair. Yeah, I don't necessarily like that because then I have to tie those storylines together, and this is more or less a throwaway thing, or just like a hook into something bigger and then thrown away. I mean, these are pretty weird looking alien things. A Sheratai. Say had like the pronunciation in parentheses. The rust red skin begins to glow with the light all of its own. Interesting. Yeah, let's say there's one of them. Pop this over here. Get a new page going. Funky piano. Funkier than I had signed up for. So let's see here. We've got a box for when they get into the compound. Let's do a light green. Okay. I don't want to feel like it's going to be too rigid if I do like a room by room thing where like I kind of take over and we go into like a cutscene kind of a deal. I think it'd be interesting to kind of have it as like a dungeon that's not necessarily dangerous, but it's dangerous because they just don't know what is in the house, when this guy's coming back, that sort of a deal. So let's do something larger than 8 points. Second spell. B. This is the title. Boom. Body. All right. First room. Call it a lobby. Actually, let's just make a really simple map. Let me just do it off to the side here. The compound's roughly a rectangle in the center. Got lobby, entrance area. Bigger fan of slates. That'll open up to like that main dining area. Be a knows about, but hasn't really been inside of. Then it'll branch out. I haven't had her go down any stairs before, but she knows she's not on the first floor. So we'll fill this place with some other stuff. And there's a big room here. Connected hallways. hallways. Yeah. Here. Let's see. So I guess before the first floor, we'll make the second floor and we'll put everything else down here. Actually make this also the stairs up. Just let's make, whatever room should we make this? The study seems weird. Maybe like a trophy room of some sort. He's got like a library, kind of a library upstairs. Kitchen could absolutely be down here. It's got the kitchen. The party can find foods, meats, silverware, probably a couple like more mundane magic things like a ever-flowing chalice of water or something like that. Dining room. Did I spell dining right? I swear there's two N's in it, but I also know that there's not. What could we have here? Upstairs we have library. Have alchemy lab. We have like a tinkerer's lab. Tinkering lab. Also upstairs is kind of just like this atrium area that then leads out to a like an outlook. Got all those upstairs. It's a big ass room. A study doesn't make sense since it's kind of the library. Just go ahead and select second floor as well. That should not move. Stairs up out here. It's gonna be small. lined up a bit. Let's check our stonks real quick. It's nothing too crazy aftermarkets yet. Trying to go to the moon. We'll see if the rocket can take us there. Let's a dropper. What in tarnish? Am I an idiot? I am an idiot. Another hallway. Cool. All right. Atrium. All these on. Library. Atrium. Outlook. Tinkering lab. Maybe not. Do tinkering and alchemy off to the side. Right? Something like that. I have 2 doors at the top of the stairs. Nothing wrong with that. Is tinkering lab. I also describe the alchemy lab as being quite enormous. This is sticking to canon. Not getting too out there with things. Alright, so we've got compound pretty much built. This thing. Let's get this all together. Probably didn't want to merge them all yet. That's okay. Entrance. Yeah, we definitely did not want to merge. That's what I missed. Right. I mean, I guess it could be like a whole wild library kind of thing. Do have library merged. So like a general library down here. This would be like the library study, where it's like more focused kind of stuff. Struggling. If anyone's watching, thank you for watching me on a Friday. Thanks for hanging out. Hit me up with any ideas you may have as we're going about this together. Another room. What should we put in here? Like, what do rich people do with all the rooms in their mansions? Like, what do they put in there? What do they assign their wild rooms as? I guess it could be like an entertainment room where there's like a grand hall or something. But you wouldn't get through it. You wouldn't get to it through the kitchen. Kitchen's up here. Dining hall. Big deal. But us is kind of a big. Maybe stairs only take up like this much room, but can't really change that. That's okay. Need to get to the dining hall. Much larger space. Yeah, I mean, you can have like art rooms, I guess, right? Just kind of art display room. And like basically, it's so bad. There we go. Basically like 2 rooms of what us normies would call like a gallery room. Okay, this is looking pretty decent. So we got the house, one that really matters. Got an hour and a half till the game. Wind inside. Let's figure out what fun stuff. See, just do a whole separate thing. Find stuff in the library. Open up the DMG. See what kind of wild books there. Most of them I would assume would just be kind of historical. It's like arithmetic, a giant's understanding of chemistry. I mean, basically what I have back there, right? Like chemistry, statics and dynamics, art books, that kind of deal. Magazines. Not really a whole lot of print. I could put a monster in there. Completely break the vibe of the book. Would it be silly? Alright. I'm so tired today. Book. Split. Okay. Wizard can fill 1,000 pages of the book with spells without paying material costs. Yeah, I mean, they don't have a wizard yet. But if one of them dies and wants to become a wizard, this might help entice them. So let's pressure. I can always zoom in as well, so small type is a tome, small size, within 12 inches tall, 8 inches wide, 1 inch thick. Is durable, waterproof, bound with iron, silver. Give the lock DC. Let's see, I want it to be more than 10, but less than 25. 15, so we can do 2D, 2D8 plus 10. Lowest of 12, but biggest of 26. I guess we can do 3D4 plus 10. And I'll have them roll for it. Just because rolling dice is fun. Rest of the description. Let's see, is there anything else interesting? Holding boat might be fun. Like, it's basically just basically a thing, like a boat in a bottle kind of a deal, right? But maybe it's a boat in a box. I can still read that. Is the Bob. Best one so far. Looks like a small wooden box, about 12 inches long. Let's see here. Really doesn't need to. Just big enough for us. All the way wide. Back over again. We're gonna merge these. I want that. Let's book boats and books. And we're just given, turns into a boat with oars. Second one turns into a small ship. Fucking dope. Who doesn't like when their party turns into pirates? Definitely could be useful if they find themselves in weird places suddenly, and a boat is absolutely necessary. Never like getting teleported into middle of open ocean with nothing to grab onto. Pop that down, pop that down. Okay. Library, basically taken care of. We can give DCs too, so let's give the book a higher one. A search of 18. It's rewarding, but it's, you know, not obvious. This will be obvious. Let's search 12. Let's see what else we got. A Harp of Charming. You can always reskin it into an instrument. Harp of Charming, golden, intricately carbon harp. When played, suggestion, DC 14 negate. That's pretty bad. DC 14 is really easy to beat. Yeah, sounds fun, but also just like, eh. Looking at medium wondrous items. Don't want to give them a golem manual. Make own. Got a bag of holding. Medallion of Thought. Appears to be a normal pendant disc hung from chain. Really fashioned from proper nickels. Read thoughts of others. Actibots. That sounds like a nightmare for me, to be honest. Constantly come up with interior thoughts for every NPC. Not like it turns off. Like a miner. Marvelous pigments are only 4,000. I think they were way better. So. Cool. That's actually really fucking good. That means Crag can just keep making pigments, and it's not really going to be much of a trip up for in terms of like money and material. Bag of tricks. I like it. You pull like literally a random animal out of the bag. Wolverine, wolf, boar, black bear. Sounds like the perfect bag. We can put that in the art display. Anyone else ever get spooked when their like follower or something music kicks in? I swear I'm gonna jump every time it happens. Yeah, it just looks like a normal bag on its own. Bag of tricks. Rust. Description. Feels a small fuzzy ball. The ball is removed and tossed up to 20 feet away. Turns into an animal. It's cute. Does the thing and disappears. I don't like how this word's sticking up. Sphere sticks up too much too. Let's copy Vega Sophia. Copy this chart here. Oh, all of them were. Hopefully it doesn't get too grainy. That's pretty bad. Let's zoom in. That's a good one. Again. That's a little better. Art display's done. Dining hall. Anything interesting in the dining hall? Could be a bunch of food. Like something important. Done. Yeah, let's do a let me talk more about the reasons for exile of members in this society. And it could just be something that's like left out on the table. They can either peruse through or just ignore. It's lore, it doesn't matter if they find it or not. If they do, if not, it doesn't affect the story. Pile of parchments. Describing various criminals, defectors, illusion, applications, scouting notes, and apprentice. Oops. Mentoring. That's it. And I could riff off of that. Pretty easy. Kitchen, basic. Atrium. You'll see the cages. Wrought iron is a W. Personal information. W. Sized for medium creatures. Shelves. Age contains a brown couple. Other is a hairless human. annoyed. Exaggerated is 2G. Exaggerated eyes. How else do they describe these deserts? Maybe they have a slight glow to them. They might think, the players might think that this thing was experimented on or something, which could be an interesting but false assumption. Alchemy lab. Search 12, stuff that you can just easily find. Numerous empty bottles. Of every volume. Every size volume. That'd make more sense to them. Let's see. 12, then we'll hop to 16. Reasons. Locked. Great. Wood box of wood. Nothing crazy, just keep anyone out from poisoning him. Let's see, the poisons. I haven't looked at poison. The Book of Vile Dark. There we go. Give them some injury poisons. MG 296. Strip toadstool. Of agates. Centipede. So it's 1d2 decks. Let's make it 6s. Definitely. And spider poison. We got strip toadstool, wisdom and intelligence, and consciousness, dex and strength. Pretty decent poisons. 12, 16, 20. Oceans. Oceans and oil. Back to magic items. G2. Spirit elements. Those 4. Jump. Stocks are creeping up a little bit. Let's do water walk. Meditate and water. All these. Posture check. Let's see, tinkering lab. Just because I've been pushing my Warforged to make her damn homunculus. I guess I'll give her a partial homunculus here. Like, hey, half of the work's already done. I know it's just for my eyes, but I still like it. Nice to bet. I wouldn't even put a search on it. How about construct roll? Actually, there is some fun little monster manual too. If the fuck good job strangely on me, should read. Oh, they're called automatons. Little hammerer. I think never one of each, right? Yeah. Various parts sprawled about a large table. Bipedal. Vaguely humanoid. Or so. Legs. On the table. stop. Let's see. Hammer arm, capper. Hammer arm. I'm so tired if I'm typing this poorly. Let's see. Head with lenses. Concave head. Arm. Drill arm. And multi-tool. How much should this thing weigh? Probably a few 100 pounds. Let's call it 140 pounds. All right. And then we have the main library that, and then they have to escape. Game's in an hour. I need a nap. I'm gonna eat something and I'll come up with something to do. Have this kind of give a grand finish and a bit of finality once they do leave, so it's not just giant city floating in the sky, waiting for whoever to accidentally run across it again. For those watching, thank you for watching. Come watch the game, 8 o'clock Eastern, about an hour, a little less than an hour. See you guys there.